Hey, happy day. So this is the video insights and commentary on week 16 reading of the Rider-Waite tarot card layout. In the past position we have the Lovers. So a lot of major arcanas again over the weeks have been coming out. At least 2 to 3 in every reading. And then this week what I've done is I've just added in the same card but from the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, because it's got such a it's got a lot more detail. But essentially the Lovers talks to us about when everything is stripped away, what have we realized is of value, what do we truly love. And it's about balancing that yin and yang that came up in last week's reading quite a lot. So the energies of the not the gender but the characteristics of yin and yang, which relate to the feminine and the masculine. So I want to just talk about that quickly. So yin would refer to the feminine energies, and she is about well, let me get there, but let's start with yang. Yang is the masculine energy. So let's use nature as our example of the characteristics of these powerful forces. So a masculine energy would be the sun. And in fact, if you look at the cards in this week's reading, they're quite yellow. So I was reminded of the sun. For planet Earth, the sun has this, it's always there, regardless of where we are on Earth. The sun is always shining somewhere on our planet, whichever side is facing it, which it would be daytime. And when the sun is hitting the Earth, it creates growth, and that is masculine energy. So there is no order in growth. There is almost just this: the sun hits and things just start to happen. They just grow, tendrils grow, everything grows. They just grow in any direction, and just send out shoots and roots. There's no planning. It just happens. The heat and the friction create movement and vibrations, and there's a whole lot of pulsating energy going on, like the veins in your body. And the cells, when we breathe oxygen, it creates an enzymatic reaction. So that's the sun. It's very powerful, and it can create growth, but at the same time we know that the sun in very dry areas can create fire, and that's destruction and chaos. So it's almost like the sun shining is a form of chaos and almost destruction, because in order for something to live, the paradox is that it's also dying. With every breath we take, it's keeping us alive, but it's causing oxidation, which is causing us to die. And so the sun creates this chaotic, creative growth, energy, power, force, create, propagate, extend, expand, growth. So it's quite Mars and fiery, and it just bulldozes over everything, and it will also kind of destroy anything in its wake with its power. And then so that's the masculine energy. It's fast, it's hot, it's forceful. And then think of the moon at night. The moon does not have its own light source. Its light in its various phases is a reflection of the light of the sun on the moon. And we know that the moon influences tides and women's menstrual reproductive cycles. So we also know that things are less likely to grow at night and more in the day. So we can see nighttime is slower, it's dark, it's often damp, it's more contained. So the moon actually creates pattern and order and structure and cycle to balance out that raging chaos of the growth and creative expansiveness of the force of the sun. So that's where they balance each other out. So that is like where we were able to I experienced the highs and the lows recently of going through all these shifts and transitions. So I have felt that bipolar nervous system had the experience. So it is like raging between polar opposites at the moment, and really trying to bring everything into balance, which we see in the outcome card of the alchemist. When we're able to do that, we find that infinite flow of balance. And again, it's about the paradox of duality. There is no separation. They just everything is the same, the opposites of the same coin. And it's a universal hermetic law of this polar and opposites. Um, so, we know that magnetic attractions, opposites attracts. And it's interesting because in this reading, there's the Taurus reference. Our current energy is this, we're in, and also Taurus is in the north node of the moon, which is about the future. And that's about finding security, a little more abundance, seeing rewards for our efforts and feeling solid, secure God. Perhaps having built our castles and feeling like we've achieved something. And what I had to say about this Taurus card, so I talk about the dragon dance which comes up, and it's interesting that something actually came up last week when I was talking about or what came up in the reading about your field. The game has changed. So are you even on the right field to play the game? Have you got the right people for your team? Do you have you have the right skills, but perhaps the gameplay has changed. And what came to mind was this dancing analogy, which kind of fits in with the dance of the dragon. And that is about New Year's. And we see the alchemist is number one. And then when we have a look at the destiny card, we see that that's number one, and chance. So we see this whole reading talks to us about this golden dawn, this new opportunity. And the dancing analogy was like, what dance style are you doing? Is it the right dance floor and audience? Are you playing to your talents, to your full potential? Which is what this card does talk to us about, is we need to be doing that, really harnessing our talents, our skills, our inherent abilities, really getting to grips with where we are here and now, and having some, if we give thanks for our blessings, that allows us to illuminate what the tools and resources are that we have access to, that we can now use to bridge the gap towards from this old state to whatever this new beginning is. And there's something about the eye of the tooth, but I'll put that in the reading because I haven't had a chance to contemplate on that too much yet. But if it means anything to you, then it really is probably the eye of the tooth, meaning the eye of the storm. The canine is about ripping the flesh. So, getting down to the bone of things, the raw, fleshy bits is what facing our personal truths is about. And once we do that, we are able to take responsibility for them. And sometimes it's just enough to have a consciousness of something for the energetic, unconscious, subconscious aspects to the unseen, the unknown, the mysterious aspects to play their part. And that's the magic, and those are the miracles of our lives. So we can probably expect some miraculous developments or events or gifts or opportunities or chances. So yes, we're taking our blinkers off somewhat. And the card in the outcome is the alchemist, so there is our new beginning. And then if we look at these two cards, the B is about the work suit, which is about expressing who we are. So we can only express who we are when we know who we are and what we want. We don't need to know how to get there, because the people and events and spaces occur to allow that to happen naturally. And I just had a look at the time, and it was exactly 10 minutes. And I do that because I want to keep it, I don't want these to be too lengthy, because we tend to have quite an short attention span as a collective. We're all a bit ADHD, but that's part of the conditioning that we've been undergoing from the external satanic, patriarchal forces. And that is definitely shifting. I'm seeing some resistance, some acting out by masculines against their father figures. So that's very, very interesting. And I've been noticing friends have been losing their beautiful companions. So it's like the old dogs, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but perhaps as sad and tragic as it is that old dogs die. So it is a bit like that. The patriarchy is dying. And I didn't put this card in the blog, but I looked up at my different decks, and this card happened to be the one I could see. And 10 talks about success, achievement, the sum total. So 10, illumination. Just a quick note. I time checked this video at 10 minutes. I just happened to look at the time, and it was 10 minutes. And then there was some outside interruption, so I paused the video, and that was at 11:21. And I started it again, and it immediately became 11:22. So I love those numbers. It's like we're walking through a portal that will unite us with either our higher self, our higher purpose, our person, our place, our profession, our purpose. So you get the message. So 10 is about where we learn to use our energy, and through that to order and corral others. If we reduce it, it becomes 1, which is chance and the alchemist. It can refer to an inflated ego, which then we become the victim of that inflated ego. Perhaps it is, I will admit, ashamedly, and shame is definitely an issue that for those who carry a lot of shame, you will be doing a lot of releasing of that shame. If you would like some support in this department, please book a one-on-one well-being session, coaching session, or a distance healing session, something like that, and I can certainly help you energetically work through those aspects that you can't work through yourself, mentally and physically and emotionally. So we have a false sense of security perhaps, and we trip over our own egos, and we can find ourselves slipping on a banana skin and literally landing with a bump on our arse. So we need to have a bit of humility and grace. We trip over our pride, so it's important not to become too prideful. And the supporting card, here is our yin and yang symbol I see again. So I do love that it does appear in the reading. And I'm just quickly having a look at my notes. Okay, let's look at the Four of Swords. So I talked about the compass wheel spinning. And 5 for me is about when the compass wheel spins, we go back to the center of the compass and just withdraw in and allow us to calm down and find security and safety. A little bit of confinement, it's a bit of caving. So 4 is we look at the opportunities that are available to us. Again, I talked about the only way to see what you truly have and appreciate your strengths and work on your weaknesses by appreciating or seeing what they are, the underbelly of the beast. You have to look at your blessings. What have you got? Your gifts. and the people around you and the support and structures you have, family, partners, friends, offspring, near and far, you know, your network. You're like the spider. Look at how far your network, how far your web extends. So it's about balancing body, mind, and spirit, head, heart, gut, and mind over matter, and head over heart. But if we've been too hearty, we need to find the balance with the head, and where we've been too heady, we need to be a little more hearty. So it's being about being centered, and we use breath for this fundamentally and very basically. It's a primal tool. We do it unconsciously, that's the basics, or we do it with consciousness that allows us to evolve and use all these natural forces and tools, nature created tools and resources. So let me just again show you all the cards, and you can see what I'm talking about when I talk about the yellow. Can you see? So that I love, there's the sun, and that's the dawn, you know, the golden dawn. And then we have all these cards with so much yellow. So I love that. And then again, and I'm all about the bee, being queen bee. So there's so much that is so synchronistic. And if you are looking for some earth elements to help you, if you have a look at my shop, I have some frankincense products that I feel would be very useful for us now for the work we're doing. It's clearing, it's purifying, it's actually very good antibacterial, antiviral. It's a fumigant. They used to use it in those incense swingers in church in medieval times, and still ritualistically as part of church services today, certainly in the Catholic religion. So if you wish for some of that, it's in the shop. And I'm going to finish off with a reading, but I'll put that as a separate video for those that are not interested in the tarot aspect but do enjoy the reading excerpts that I do. So the link below. I'd really value if you subscribed to this channel. I'd love to grow it. And if there are any topics you'd like me to cover or explore, whether it's on a well-being aspect or whether it has to do, you know, a mental aspect, I'd love to know what you want to know. And I enjoy doing the research, and I enjoy writing, and I enjoy speaking about it. And in order not to overwhelm Joe Public more than I already do out there in my daily contact, this is the platform and forum that I use, so that if you are drawn to it, then you get the information that is relevant and valuable to you. And there's a diverse range of issues and topics that I discuss as a consciousness coach and a spiritual, a plant medicine woman. So if you could also share those videos that you feel would be valuable for others, I welcome that. Thank you. And namaste in Lakesh.